Hey guys, welcome back. This is IRNBRUTAL again, talking about the Elder Scrolls Online. I did another video on this. If you want to check that out, I'll leave you a little link. And please like and subscribe to the channel because it really helps us out. Right, so first of all, in the previous video I said that I didn't think the game would be in first person, and I apologise about that. The game is confirmed to have first person view, although I don't think I'll be using it personally. I think an MMO kind of fits third person, and I think that's what I'll be playing it in. But there you go, there's the information. So the level cap will be 50, and I'm just going to bring you a bit more in-depth information about the alliances themselves. So, as I said in the first video, there's 3 alliances that are going to be in this game. We've got the Aldmeri Dominion, Daggerfall Convent, and the Ebonheart Pact. So the Aldmeri Dominion is going to be represented by a bird of prey, so that'll be the little insignia that goes along with that alliance, and it'll be formed by the 3 races of Altmer, Bosmer, and the Khajiit, which are these sort of lion cat type people that you'll know if you've played an Elder Scrolls game before. So the Daggerfall Convent is your next alliance. I know there's a lot of people, it's probably what I'm going to pick, and I know a lot of people online are giving it a nice little rating. I hope it doesn't get too overpopulated on the Daggerfall, but leave a comment, let me know what alliance you're going to pick. I think I'm going to go with the Daggerfall Convent. But anyway, let's get into that. That's represented by a lion, that'll be the insignia. And that is compiled of Bretons, Orcs, and Red Guards. So all these races you'll recognise if you played an Elder Scrolls game before, but there'll be more information on this as we get closer to the beta and closer to release. But anyway, and the third alliance is the Ebonheart Pact, which the insignia for that is a dragon, and that is comprised of Dunmer Nords and Argonians, and Argonians are the other sort of less human-like race, and they're sort of like lizard people. So if you, like I say before, if you played Elder Scrolls, you'll know what I'm talking about. And the orcs are a little bit different. They're very similar to typical orcs in any other fantasy game, World of Warcraft, green skin, sort of tusks, things like that. You know, they tend to a bit more muscular. They tend to be based around melee combat, but there's nothing like that in the game. Anyway, and crafting will be in the game, I'm glad to report, and soul gems will feature. If you've played Skyrim, Oblivion, any of the other Elder Scrolls games, you'll know that soul gems play a big part, and you can, use your soul trap spell in Skyrim, and you can make a weapon have soul trap on it, so when you attack with that to kill something, it fills your soul gems with souls, and then you can use that to enchant weapons and things like that, and apply enchants back on weapons when they run out of juice. But they are confirmed to be used in crafting and enchanting, it says. So I look forward to seeing that. And when asked about crafting, Matt Fyra, I think that's how you pronounce his surname, the lead designer for this game, said that we have an awesome crafting system in the world that will be very familiar to players of Skyrim. So hopefully they're going to keep it nice and simple, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I agree with that. I think if they stick roughly to what they have in Skyrim and things like that, like needing all these little bits and pieces to make your sort of dragon-based armor, you need like the bones and the scales and things like that. That would be pretty cool. I know that they might not use the same exact things, but needing these rare parts is always fun, trying to hunt them down and reporting on where you found them and things like that. So I look forward to seeing that in the game. So any class in this game, I'll talk more about classes in a minute, but any class in this game can wear any armor and can use any weapon. So unlike other MMOs such as Guild Wars and World of Warcraft, anything like that, and Star Wars: The Old Republic, pretty much most MMOs, the class you pick, the decision you make at the beginning of the game, usually restricts you from using certain weaponry. And say in World of Warcraft, a rogue can only use leather and cloth armor, and it can't use sort of mail and plate and heavy armor. And the same goes for Star Wars and things like that in Guild Wars. If you pick a lighter based rogue sort of archer character, a mage, they tend to only be able to wear cloth and light armor. But in Skyrim you can do this. You can be a mage who uses a sword and wears full-on heavy gear, but it slows you down. So it'll be the same in Elder Scrolls Online. You can use any weapon you want and any armor you want for any class, even if it totally doesn't suit and totally doesn't work right. If you fancy it, you can do that. And, you know, the haters can hate all they want. If you're running around with full sort of heavy armor and you're casting spells, who cares, man? You can do what you want. So anyway, some of the features that'll be in this game, I've just got a little list for you here. PvP will start after level 10. So after level 10, you'll be able to go to the PvP area, the War of the Alliance, and do the big PvP, which sounds awesome. I mentioned a bit more of that in the previous video, so go check that out. And the game will be available in 3 languages, English, French, and German. So anyone who doesn't speak those 3 languages, there's no news about that yet. But anyway, there will be a feature called Mundus Stones, or Mundus Stones, Mundus, and they will give players special abilities. So I guess they'll just be hidden around the world. You'll just find them on your travels, and if you sort of activate them, you'll get yourself some special powers or buffs. I'm not entirely sure whether you'll be getting permanent abilities from these, or whether it'll just be buffs for a certain amount of time like you get in a lot of games. But anyway, that's a nice feature. It adds a nice mechanic to questing, you know, finding these extra things makes things a bit more interesting, less dull. And there will be time travel based missions in the game, so the game won't the full game, you won't play the entire game through and stay in the same timeline you're in. Apparently there will be missions that involve you becoming another character and traveling back in time to previous battles in the history timeline. So that's always really cool. You'll get to see a bit more detailed story and maybe previous events that have led up to the situation that you're in the game. And any sort of role player or storyline lover will be glad to hear about these kinds of things. Mounts will be included in the game, so just like in Skyrim and Oblivion, you can ride your horses in that. And I guess I have no factual information on this, but I'm guessing with it being an MMO, there's going to be more of a range than just different coloured horses. I don't know if they're going to try and create some kind of like creatures that you can tame and ride, because obviously mounts in World of Warcraft is obviously a massive deal, you know, finding them, getting the rare drops, doing the achievements to get them, and people get very obsessive with these kinds of things, including myself. And you know, you like to look good in the game, and a lot of people think highly of themselves if they're looking better in the game, which is why WoW introduced things like transmogrification. But anyway, moving onwards, mounts will be there. Some class names that I've found online, we've got Dragon Knight, Templar, Sorcerer, Warden, and Nightblade. And the classes will only affect the sort of base abilities that you use on your hotbar. They won't actually affect, like I previously just mentioned, the type of gear you can wear or the type of weapon you're only allowed to use. It is literally just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keys that you will be setting to, and your ultimate abilities and things like that the class the class determines. So there isn't much information on the classes at the minute. I've read that the Templar is supposed to be like a paladin sort of melee based sort of moves, but then also has some healing magical abilities using a mana resource. So it sounds very similar to a paladin in your World of Warcraft. Sorcerer, from the name, I'm guessing, is some kind of, you know, your typical mage based around controlling the elements and things like that, but this is just speculation. This is just my opinion. Warden, from the name, again, I would guess that's some kind of druidy, more natural, Mother Earthy based magical class, maybe a type of healer. But again, this is just my opinion and speculation, so don't take that as fact. And Dragon Knight, again, I don't know, is that just going to be the warrior sort of situation? It's, from the sounds of it, it sounds very sort of your typical heavy armor, big fucking battle axe and stuff like that. But again, you could be a Dragon Knight and wear cloth, so you can do what you want. And Nightblade, I guess, is the more stealthy. You'd probably be encouraged to use daggers and small swords and things like that, and sneaking up on people, bow and arrow, stuff like that. But again, you could be a Nightblade and just go for it. You know, you could just wear cloth, wear heavy armor, use a double battle axe, even though your moves are based around stealth. Who cares, man? You can do it. You can do whatever you want. So anyway, moving on. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the finesse and synergy system that's going to be in this game, and a lot of this is to do with combat. Well, pretty much all of this is to do with combat, and it is a little bit complex, but it's definitely something that I haven't really seen before in a game, and I think it's going to add a really nice feel to doing these public dungeons and doing 5-man dungeons with people, because this will dictate how much experience and the loot and the benefit you get from a fight, depending on how well you fight and how much you put in. So if you've got a slacker in your group, he won't be getting anything. If he sits there, he can't just run through supping up an equal amount of experience. He won't get the same. If you put more effort in and you fight better, you will get more experience and better loot and things like that. And I think that is definitely a good thing. So it is a system to encourage combining moves and abilities. The more everyone uses synergy, the more successful the team will become as a result. Every class/player has a special ability, and the synergy system allows you and your group to combine these abilities. So not only are these abilities going to help you get more experience and level quicker and things like that, if you use them together with your friends, they are just going to make your group better. If you're all combining attacks and thinking about things a bit more and trying to fight smoother and better, you'll be doing more damage and you'll be healing more, and you'll be, whatever it is you're trying to do, you're going to do it more effectively. So your group will kill quicker, therefore you will get through things quicker, you will level quicker, not only through the extra XP you will gain, but just by, you know, killing things quicker. You'll save time. So the benefits of using synergy and combining your abilities: it grants you more finesse, which I'll talk about in a minute, and your team will kill quicker, as these combos will increase DPS and HPS, and you will get extra XP. The more synergy and finesse you earn in a fight, the more experience the kill yields. So if you're just sitting there doing the bare minimum, trying to just kill stuff, you're not going to get much XP. And these sorts of things they're not really that necessary when you're just questing and it's just you're just killing a deer or something, whatever it is in your way, or you just fancy killing. You know, you're not going to get much of a difference from that. But in terms of a boss battle or a group of enemies that are trying to take you down, and you know you're in a bit of a predicament, this is going to really help you like get the max XP out of the situation you can. And you know, it makes the game it adds a sort of, makes the game a little bit more entertaining, in my opinion. I would imagine. I've obviously not played it yet, but I would think it makes the game more entertaining because it encourages you to play in a certain way rather than just doing the bare minimum and grinding through, which you can do if you want. This is the point. You don't have to be amazing at the game. But anyway, sorry about that little noise. It's just the Xbox pad ran out of battery. So anyway, and there will be special rewards for you mastering your character. And we've got no lists on these special rewards yet. They've not been revealed. But, you know, I guess from using all these, this is, just before I start, this is just my opinion and speculation again. I guess if you're using the finesse and getting these kills really smooth and using all your abilities really well and you're getting the max XP, there will be some kind of rating that your character will get. And once you hit a certain point, I would guess, you get some kind of special loot or abilities, or it just says special rewards, but we don't have a list yet, so there's no idea to tell what it is. So like I just said, everything I've just mentioned is far more important in dungeons and instances and not so important with small weak monsters. So finesse, I'll just briefly talk about finesse. You'll earn finesse by using your block in a timely fashion. Finesse is used for your ultimate abilities. So every class will get certain ultimate abilities, and I've read that there will be loads of different ultimate abilities for your class, but you can only hotbar one at a time. So, and certain ones will be more devastating than others, but they'll have a different finesse cost. So you might have one that you want to spam quite a lot that costs not much finesse, so you'll be using that often. Or you might want to have some like ridiculously powerful big AoE ultimate, that you only break out when you've saved up enough finesse to use it, and you don't get to use it as often, but it does a bit more damage. And obviously you can change these out depending on the situation. So you might want one for dungeons, one for PvP, one for just questing. You know, these things will change as and when you're playing the game and what you're doing. But anyway, it's basically just a rating and a reward system for playing smoothly, blocking well, interrupting enemies, just generally fighting in a decent way, you know, not getting hit as little as possible, getting your hits in as clean as possible, knocking enemies out, things like that. And it's just a nice mechanic to have in a game. But anyway, that'll be all for today, and just make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video and everything, because it really does help us out, and we're trying to grow as a channel. So like, if you don't mind giving us a hand, and if you enjoyed the video, there'll be more to come, and any more information I get on the Elder Scrolls Online, I'll post a new video. So like I just said, check out the original video to this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.